y'all, welcome to today's vlog. Today we're going to be talking about labels. So a lot of you ask, are you free range? So today I'm going to be going down the list of all the different labels and what they truly mean. So first of all is humanely raised. So that's a huge thing. Everyone's like, all the labels say humanely raised. Honestly, it means nothing. So humanely raised just simply means that they're in a barn, like every other big place. They're just in a big chicken barn. They're being fed the normal GMO feed, which has pesticides and herbicides, and they have absolutely no access to outside light. Also, they're being given antibiotics to prevent and treat sicknesses and to help them grow, because in those kind of living conditions, it is so hard to keep chickens from getting sick and dying. So next is hormone-free. First of all, hormones are actually illegal to be given to chickens, and there's no need for them. So really, that label is just to make it sound good. It means absolutely nothing. So it's the same as saying humanely raised, just said differently. Third is cage-free. That's a huge one. Everyone's like, are you cage-free? Cage-free just simply means that they're not in cages, which in the barns, those big chicken barns, there's normally lined with cages. It just simply means that they're not in the cage. However, cage-free chickens are still completely crammed together, wing to wing, in a giant indoor space, sometimes even having 2 levels, containing thousands of birds. So these birds are squished together. Like, they can't even move hardly. So they are in the same horrible living conditions, just they're not in a cage. They are still being fed the same bad GMO feed that's herbicides, pesticides, and given antibiotics. Fourth one is free range. Free range is another huge deal. Everyone asks, are we free range? And there is a huge difference between free range and pastured. So free range hens often have access to outdoors, but birds are naturally suspicious. So chickens are naturally going to be very suspicious of anything out of norm. So you can have a chicken in a pen and have access to something outside in a small door. They're not going to go out there just because they're suspicious and like they just don't feel comfortable. So naturally they're very suspicious, so they're not going to be comfortable doing that. Or they may not even feel safe doing that. So a lot of times, to get the label of free range, there's going to be this huge chicken barn and it has a small door with a little outside area, and it's considered free range because they have access to being on the range. But so this chicken can be inside their entire life and still be under the label as free range, just simply because they have access to outside. So it's still able, but that's nothing like a pastured bird. And not to mention, these sheds are holding like over 20,000 birds. So for a chicken in the inside to get all the way through to the outside, more than likely they're not going to leave, just because they want to stay near their food and water, and it's so hard to get out. And a lot of times labels will say organic free range. Organic on any label, honestly, all that means is that they're feeding them organic feed. They can be certified, but that is simply because they are feeding them organic feed. It has nothing to do with their practices. Free range chickens, like I just explained, can be considered organic just simply because they're being fed organic feed. So organic really doesn't mean anything. Now, pastured with organic does mean something, but even with pastured, you can have really a variety of things. So pastured means that they do have access to pasture. So, but it doesn't guarantee that they're going to venture out. Like I was saying earlier, chickens are very suspicious creatures, and so they're not, if a lot of times there's big companies that consider themselves pasture raised, and that's because they're in a big barn, but they have access to a huge thing of pasture. But like I said, a lot of times they're not going to venture out. If they're going to venture out, it's going to be just a little bit out, and so that area is going to become extremely worn down very fast, and it's not going to be fresh. So even with pastured, honestly, you really have to know your farmer and trust him, and sometimes even go out and see their farm to truly know that pastured even means that. And again, when you add organic to that, it just means simply that they are feeding them organic feed. What we mean when we say pastured, it's a whole different thing. So with ours, they're raised literally on the pasture. We do not have them in barns whatsoever. They have small pens that they can go in to lay their eggs and if they want shade, but they are on the pasture, and we are moving them continually to give them fresh grass and bugs, and they have full access to sunshine. They're in the sunshine, but they do have and we do supplement them with feed, but it's a no soy, no GMO, and no corn feed. So these chickens are fed no antibiotics, no medicine of any kind. They are raised on the pasture with the fresh sunshine, grass, and bugs. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope you liked it. Please don't forget to help me out by giving it a thumbs up and subscribing so you won't miss out on any more content.